Okay, good afternoon. We have a little bit of feedback, Rob.
It was Ken's computer. We're good.
Oh, okay, good. Welcome to the Health and Human Services Committee. It is Monday, June 17th at 1 p.m. And I just want to make a quick announcement that we're having some power outages in the area. And so we're hoping that our Zoom stays on, but there are some buildings in the city of Ithaca that do not have power right now. We also understand that there's some staff that's joining us and there might be some glitches in your connection. So we will continue to have our meeting. We'll try and make it as quick as possible and as efficient as possible. We do have a few changes to our agenda. The first one is that I would ask legislators to please look on their desks. We do have a revised resolution for ID 12505. We also would like to add to the agenda a resolution 12509. And that's just a budget adjustment for Youth Services Department. It's timely that we get this on the agenda and approve it so that they can get the funds and we can vote on it tomorrow. Would I be able to get a mover to move that to add it to the agenda? Moved by Travis, seconded by Randy. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of adding this to our agenda? And that is unanimous. Thank you all. And I would also like to, under the County Administrator's report, withdraw the presentation for the 2025 Project Approval Request, or the PAR, and that is ID 12499. We decided, since this has to do with sheltering services, that it's going to actually be moved to the Housing and Economic Development, as well as Facilities and Infrastructure Committee. So the presentations will take place in that committee so that we're consistent. Is that everything, Lisa? Is that right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the next topic in our agenda, we're going to move to public comment. We have one person that's signed up, and I'm just going to read the rules for speaking under privilege of the floor. Number one, I agree to a 3-minute time limit. I agree not to raise my voice. Number three, I agree not to use lewd, obscene, profane, slanderous, or libelous language or speak or act in a manner that would tend to incite a breach of the peace. Number four, I agree not to speak about county personnel matters. Personnel matters include comments about the job performance of named county employees other than elected officials. Number five, after 3 minutes, I agree to leave the microphone and yield the floor. Transferring time to another person is not permitted. Number six, I agree to be courteous and not make comments, gestures, outbursts, or other disruptions while other members of the public or legislators are speaking. Number seven, I agree that if I cause a disruption and am asked to leave, I will leave the chambers. And our commenter today is Zach Wynn.
Good afternoon. Hello, my name is Zach Wynn. I live here downtown. I'd like to point the board's attention to an article I forwarded about dangerous levels of pesticide that have been detected in marijuana in California. There is a great deal of marijuana available locally that can be purchased under the table or from dealers that lack the testing and oversight of official retailers. The pesticides are also found in marijuana vape products, with the pesticides concentrated into a form that is directly inhaled. I have seen some of the brands mentioned in the article for sale here in town. I think it would be beneficial if the county health department could develop some testing capacity to find out if the contamination discussed in the article is present here locally. The technical capacity to do this may exist already, and if it does not, partnering with Cornell may be a possibility. I am sure people would like to know if the local marijuana supply was contaminated. Getting people to come forward with samples would not be as difficult now that that marijuana itself is not criminalized. I know some people who have developed strange symptoms after using some of the marijuana sold under the counter. I have heard coughs that were unlike anything I have encountered before. The effects of the pesticides discussed in the article, many of them banned in the United States, have severe health consequences. And I have noticed the public service announcements on the TCAT regarding marijuana and young people. Similar PSAs regarding pesticide and mold contamination of the illicit marijuana supply, if it is found, would be beneficial to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. I do not have a chair's report today, so let's go ahead and move on to our reports. County Administrator Lisa Holmes.
Thank you, Shauna. My only brief update is that staff were on a statewide call this morning about the extreme heat event that we are going to be experiencing this week, or already starting to experience. This is unlike others because it's marked by the prolonged nature of it. And staff at county admin, namely Dominic, our communications director, has been coordinating on the messaging going out to the community regarding precautions, availability of cooling centers with Department of Emergency Response and the whole health department, and as well as messaging our own staff and managers about precautions to be taken this week. So that's all I've got.
Wait, do you happen to know if there's any conversation at the state for some type of code blue funding for this type of weather?
For cooling?
Yeah.
I do not. Often under the HEAP program, and Kit may be able to speak to this when she reports, sometimes under the HEAP program there is funding available for cooling, or there has been in years past. I don't know if there's anything available for it this summer, but Kit may know more.
Hi, Kit.
Hi, happy to provide information. So the HEAP program, which we usually think of it as the Heating Energy Assistance Program, does have funding to provide supports to people. It is much more limited than the HEAP, the heating part of that program. So what I would do is, what I would encourage people to do is to reach out to DSS. We can definitely assist. We are also, as I was going to report during my report today, we are reaching out to families and to especially vulnerable people right now, elderly adults and others. We are reaching out to them to try to look at what needs to be put in place. Sometimes, sometimes there are ways that we can assist with purchase of an air conditioner or that kind of thing through a program. Other times it's more that we need to coordinate care so that somebody can get to places where they can cool down and make sure that they're safe. So all of those things are options, and I definitely would encourage people to contact us, and we'll help manage that. And we're reaching out right now. The other thing that I would just highlight that's an important piece is I've sent out information from OTDA to our staff about the unique risks of people that are actively using substances, because there are significant risks when people are using, are substance users, and there's high heat event. So we're also training and talking to staff about what needs to happen, what kind of conversations we can have with people that may be actively using to help them understand that they may need additional supports right now to stay cool and not be at risk. So all of that stuff is happening.
Thank you. Any questions for Lisa? Randy?
I just wanted to thank Kit. I met with Kit last Monday.
Randy, microphone.
I met with Kit last Monday to talk about SNAP, and she was really appreciate the time, and I definitely got educated, which was helpful. And of course, all those programs are much more complicated than anybody can imagine. But it's interesting that it's funded through the Farm Bill, which is up for review now. It's going on, and the USDA is the one who puts the majority of restrictions on how you can do outreach for that. So I did, Kit, want to let you know I did meet with the folks at CCE, and because they're doing some work with the USDA, and they're going to research that to find out what truly they're even allowed to do. So that's where that's at. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Randy. Any other questions, comments? Okay. We're also joined today by our new county attorney, Maury. Maury, hello, welcome.
Hi.
Do you have anything to report today?
I do not.
Okay. Welcome to Health and Human Services.
Thank you.
Nice to have you. Okay, why don't we move on to Department of Whole Health, and we do have a few resolutions. Our first resolution authorizing an intermunicipal agreement between the counties of Cayuga, Cortland, Jefferson, Lewis, Madison, Onondaga, Oswego, and Tompkins, Public Health, ID 12472. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Susan Currie, seconded by Randy Brown. And Frank Krupa, welcome to HHS.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Can you tell us a little bit about this resolution, please?
Sure. I believe this is the second or third iteration of what is, I guess you would liken it to mutual aid with our first responder community. It really is just an opportunity for a legal mechanism for counties to call upon their sister counties in the region to support public health endeavors that might present themselves. So this authorizes the county administrator to enter into that agreement.
Great. Are there any questions or comments for Frank? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous. Thank you. Second resolution, Resolution B, resolution calling on members of New York State Senate and Assembly to reform the state's competency restoration process and support the passage of S 1874, A 5064 in the 2024 legislative session. This is already over, but ID 12500. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Travis Brooks, seconded by Susan Currie. And would you like to talk to this, Frank?
Sure, yeah, apologies on the timing. The Community Services Board needed to weigh in ahead of it, so that process delayed us a bit. But this is going to continue to be an issue, so getting us on the record helps us from an advocacy perspective. The Conference of Local Mental Hygiene Directors has asked the counties to move forward this resolution in support of changes to the CPL 730 evaluation process. I know you guys have heard about it, particularly the cost. 100% of that cost was shifted to the counties a few years ago, and these are for individuals that are unable to aid in their defense. So if they commit a crime and go before a judge, a 730 evaluation can be ordered, which requires two psychiatrists to evaluate the individual. If they agree that they are not competent and able to aid in their defense, they are remanded to a state facility where they are not provided treatment. They are provided services to get them to a place where they are competent to aid in their defense. So they may receive medications and other sorts of services that we might traditionally consider treatment, but this is not a way to get individuals into mental health treatment. It is really about competency to support in their own defense. So we're asking and hoping that the state will adjust some of the laws around this in order to clarify when and how it should be used, and most importantly, support in funding some of it. So that's what this resolution is about.
Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank? Randy Brown?
Hello, Frank. Yeah, I know you talked about this before, but people that are in this situation, the 730, where do they go? Are there services locally, or do they go to some facility, state facility out of the area?
Yeah, they're regional state facilities. There are only a handful of them around the state that do this type of work. Some folks are there for a very short period of time. Others can be there for a longer period of time. But the service is not provided in Tompkins County, and it's a regional approach.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Frank? Okay, let's vote on Resolution B. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That's unanimous. Thank you. Next, Resolution C, authorization to accept donation of services from Ithaca College, enter into a memorandum of understanding to establish a brain injury clinic pilot, Whole Health ID 12501. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Travis, seconded by Susan Currie. Would you like to talk to this, Frank?
Sure. So our Deputy Commissioner, Harmony Ayers-Friedlander, has been working with Ithaca College to establish this pilot program for traumatic brain injury services. We have several clients that come to our clinic with what appears to be manifesting mental health diagnosis, but it truly is an impact of their traumatic brain injury. And there's a different course of action and a different skill set that's necessary for those injuries, and Ithaca College through their different therapy programs is able to support some of that. So we are entering into this agreement to allow them to use some space in our building, and we will refer clients to the program. So it's not necessarily open to the public. It is just a referral through our clinic as we attempt to stand up this pilot and see how it goes. We did have to go through the new donation services. It felt a little weird, but we're following the new policy. And so Ithaca College has filled out the appropriate forms around donations of services, and we're hopeful to be able to get this up and operational to serve some folks in our clinic.
Great, thank you, Frank. Any questions or comments for Frank? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And our last resolution, Resolution D, authorization to accept funds, create positions, and budget adjustment for Crisis Alternative Response and Engagement, the CARE team, Office of Mental Health, OMH funding, Whole Health ID 12505. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Travis Brooks, seconded by Susan Currie.
And this is the revised one?
And there is, that's right, thank you, Amanda. There is a revised resolution on your desks. Frank, would you like to talk to this resolution as well?
Sure. We have been granted from Office of Mental Health funding to be able to expand to a third care team. This will actually be a shifting of the program a bit, moving the clinical side of it outside of our mental health clinic, and we will be called what is a certified program because the state has not yet developed the licensing for these mobile crisis alternative type response models, but it's coming. In doing that, we will be able to bill for some services, but understand we expect only to be able to bill about 20% of the total cost based on experience from other folks and what we expect to see. But this is fully funded at this point to expand to a third team. It will allow us to use funding to provide supervision for the what will be three clinicians now that are part of the care teams external to the clinic, as well as purchase a vehicle and some of the other necessary things to expand. This is not sustained funding. It goes through next year. And I mentioned at the last meeting that I wanted to be very upfront about that. We're hopeful that OMH will see how well this program is going and the benefits of it and continue to fund it, but there's no guarantee of that right now. So this will be expansion of a program that potentially could be something that the legislature would have to consider in the near future if they wanted to provide sustainable funding moving forward. But for right now, we have enough funding, and we're just asking for the authority to accept and make the budget adjustments to implement a third team.
Great, thank you. So I actually did a ride-along with our CARES team one afternoon, and it was really great to see the work that they're doing. They're reaching out to people that are currently struggling. They're reaching out with families. They're trying to connect services. There was one situation that we went to on site where someone was having a hard day, and they had a connection with the individual, and they were able to navigate that much better than people that are dressed up like police officers. And, you know, it's a different route that I think, you know, historically we haven't taken whenever it comes to law enforcement and social work. It's kind of like the marriage of the two. I will say that whenever I went with the deputy and the social worker, you know, at all times I felt very safe. The deputy that does go along is dressed as a deputy and is armed. And so, you know, I think it is kind of a best case scenario. With that said, I'm happy to hear that the county is adding another team. Frank, can you tell me, I know that the officers that I went with, their hours, I believe, were 7 to 3. Is this going to be more evening hours than on the weekends?
Yes. Thank you for that question, Shauna. Yeah, so we're working with Under Sheriff Olin to try to identify how we can expand this into the evening and on weekend for this additional team. So yes, we are looking at that.
Great. Any questions or comments for Frank? Randy?
Yes, Frank, does this grant cover all the costs for 2025?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Do you have any other updates for us, Frank?
Just one, I wanted to let you all know that the mural on the COFA and Veterans Building should be beginning this week. So we're excited to see that get underway, and hopefully we'll be able to do some sort of ribbon cutting around that in the near future. So just wanted to update you all on that.
Thank you. I just have one question in regards to an update from the Alcohol and Drug Council. Probably at least 2 times a week, I am asked about what is going on with the program, and I think many of us that have been in the community and have witnessed the inception of the building and been really excited about it opening its doors. We drive by it now, and the lawn is 2 feet tall, and it's a pretty vacant building, and it would be nice to know that there's maybe light at the end of the tunnel and a positive update.
Sure. So first on the lawn situation, we are meeting weekly with Oasis and the board of the Drug Council to address the building itself and its maintenance in the interim. The county has received an advance of funding from Oasis that will go tomorrow to the Alcohol and Drug Council that will cover the arrears on certain bills on the building, as well as pay through the end of the month. And then we're expecting a second advancement in July to cover the next 3 months. So the money is coming in there to maintain the building because we are all hyper-focused on making sure the investment is protected. As far as how the building is going to be used, we have created RFPs for all of the services. Oasis has reviewed and approved those services, but those RFPs, but we are in conversations with OMH about trying to merge the idea of crisis stabilization with the RFPs that exist on the Oasis side. As you can imagine, there are some bureaucracies to work through. We are been communicating almost daily, trying to get a final resolution, but we do expect that the RFPs for all 3 services, if that's the route that is required of us to go, will be posted before the end of the month. We're just waiting on that to see if that OMH piece can come together. And we've obviously been in conversations with Cuyahoga Health Systems because of the commitment that the county made with the, I don't know if it was ARPA funds, but the funds that were provided to them for the crisis stabilization. They are completely on board, but we need OMH and Oasis to sign off on an approach. But we should know in another week or so kind of the final decision on that, and then we'll be moving forward full steam ahead to try to get a new vendor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Frank? Okay, thank you, Frank. We appreciate it. Okay, next on our agenda, we have Office of Human Rights, and Ken Clark is here with us and has a presentation for us.
Okay, good afternoon. Excuse me. Thanks for this opportunity to talk about OHR's efforts at rebranding. Shortly, you will see the PowerPoint presentation that we will be using to explain what we're doing. Okay, one of OHR's goals in 2024 was to work with the Human Rights Commission and County Communications to develop a publicity campaign to enhance OHR's image, public image. And central to that effort, we felt, would be the development of a new brand or rebranding for OHR. You see our current logo on screen, which has been in place since 2013, 2014. And now you see alongside it, next to it, the new signage and logo for the office. We decided that after a decade plus of service, it was time to retire the old logo. The graphics were outdated, and we wanted to seize the moment to reintroduce the work of the office and strengthen public engagement. We also felt that a new look would enhance OHR's capacity to highlight contemporary human rights issues. So early in 2024, go to the next screen, slide. OHR staff met with Dominic Recchio, our communications director, and developed a survey to be sent to key OHR stakeholders, including the commission and others. We analyzed the data from those surveys, ranked the responses, and explored how a new brand could increase awareness of OHR's work. And as we began the design process, we took the county seal into consideration. So you can go to the next one. We gave a nod to the county seal, replicating its circular shape and prominence of the county name. And instead of incorporating the name in the circle, as is the case with the county seal, we placed the name above the circle surrounding it. And we borrowed the olive branch, a symbol of peace, from the county seal as well. But it's also symbolic of an important historical narrative. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, which was ratified by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948, and which is a document which guides our work, emerged in the aftermath of 2 world wars in the first half of the 20th century. And so 3 years after World War II ended, this declaration was created to promote peace. And so we felt it was important to incorporate the olive branch as symbolic of that. The circle also serves another purpose. It doubles as the letter O, as in Office of Human Rights. The colors, deep blue and olive green, symbolize water and land, universal symbols. The hand has dual functions, as does the olive branch. The hand references both the outreach and welcome, but it also reflects and symbolizes the commitment to uphold human rights as well. And so we plan to create a business card size explanation of the iconography for the public so that they will be able to understand what these symbols mean. You can go to the next. Okay. And also, one thing to mention too is the olive branch basically doubles as a quill, and it signifies the importance of the written word in peace and human rights. And the written word, of course, being the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, among other historic and current documents. Next slide. This is the primary logo that will be used, and this is what will replace the current logo on the window of the office and in all of our, in stationery and on our business cards and other types of things. So this is the primary logo, but we also have alternate logos. Primary logo you see at the top, and then you see other variations of the theme below. And you could think of these in some ways as alternate jerseys professional sports teams wear in place of their regular or primary jerseys. Next slide. And there are other uses for the graphics that we have created. They can be used to highlight any of the 30 articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the K-12 Human Rights Arts Competition, which is held every year by our office, our human rights programming, and you see a sample of our human rights program event that we did during Black History Month there, and business cards as well. Next slide. So public announcement will be forthcoming shortly about this new look, and the new signage will be placed on and in the office, that is on the window, front window of the office, but also within the office itself. The public will see the first glimpse of our new look when that new logo appears on the window. And what you see on screen, the graphic there, is what will be a collapsible banner that we can use for various tabling and other types of events. We also have available materials for public events. We will be having a public event to launch the rebranding on September 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Hotel Ithaca. You will be receiving invitations for this. And finally, we have created posters for each of the 30 articles of the UDHR. These are samples which highlight the applicability of the articles in our own county. Article 1's photo features a mural at Southside Community Center. Article 10, you see a photo of the courthouse. In Article 21, the right to partake in public affairs is something which can be posted in the legislative chambers. You can post this here. And I also have, and I'll pass these around, stickers of the new logo to give away. And so I'll stop here and field any questions you have.
Any questions or comments? Susan?
Can I take two?
You can take as many as you like.
It's very nice. I just wanted to say I appreciated Dr. Clark presented this at the last meeting of the Human Rights Commission. There was a really great discussion about that, and thank you and to Dominic for the work that you did.
Thank you.
Amanda?
Yeah, so you mentioned that you talked to the commission and they had a chance to give input and feedback, so hopefully they felt included and...
They did. And we also, too, we did a survey locally among, OHR stakeholders and others. And it was the feedback from that survey that informed how we went about with the redesign. And so we didn't want to do this in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And it was important to get input from outside of the office or related to the office in the effort to recreate our look.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I mean, it's nice to have it's striking, it definitely sticks out and you're kind of like, oh, the colors are great. Yeah, so I don't think I have any questions, but I think it looks good. Thank you.
Thank you. And there will be some other giveaways which will be at the event, which will have the logo on it, which include lapel buttons and things of that sort.
Yeah, I'll just add, I think this is really crisp and it's very eye-catching, and it's been a long time that we've had the other logo, and it feels outdated. We have new people in the office. You've been with Office of Human Rights for 6 years, 5 years?
Well, actually 7 in November.
Wow.
So it was time for a facelift. So I'm very glad that you brought that in, Dr. Clark. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is exciting.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And thank you, Dominic. Were you the one that did the design work?
Yes.
Yes.
Incredible.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dominic did amazing work for us and worked with us and for us.
Yeah. I mean, it literally is like the work of a marketing firm. So
Yeah.
great job.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thanks.
And if I could just take the liberty, I'll just, I'll do my updates for my report here since so you don't have to come back to me. We've got 2 events coming up this month that we hope that you will be able to participate in. 2 days from now, the Juneteenth celebration will occur, the County City Juneteenth celebration at Southside from 11 to 3. I will be talking with the folks at Southside about, what Plan Bs we may need in the event of excessive heat and how we manage that. And so that event will take place from 11 to 3 at Southside. It will include a Black Business Expo, a reenactment of the very first Juneteenth in 1865 in Texas, a keynote address by DeQuetta Jones, who is the CEO of Vera House in Syracuse, and a community meal. So this will be our 4th annual event for the county in terms of Juneteenth. And then the following week on the 26th, we will have our LGBT event, a film discussion which is centered around the life of Pauli Murray. Pauli Murray was a lawyer. She was an Episcopal priest, in fact, the first Black Episcopal priest ordained in the United States, a woman Episcopal priest ordained in the United States. And she was an activist and a member of the LGBTQ community, and one who was instrumental in influencing the jurisprudence of Thurgood Marshall and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who in fact named her as an honorary co-sponsor of her argument before the Supreme Court related to sex discrimination. So that will be held at Cinemapolis on the 26th, which is Wednesday, from 6:30 to about 9. And Chrissy D'Alfonso will be the moderator for the film discussion. That's it from us.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Dr. Ken? Okay, thank you very much for coming today. Good to see you in person.
Yes, good to see you all in person.
Okay, next we have Department of Social Services. We have one resolution authorizing purchase of X-ray machine for enhanced security at the Human Services Building, ID 12489. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Randy Brown, seconded by Susan Currie. And Kit Kephart is here. Hi, Kit.
Hi. So I can just kind of quickly let people know we've been looking at this for a while. County administration had actually assisted us with doing an RFP for this, or RFB and request for bids. We've been looking at this for a while to kind of enhance our security. One of the challenges that we have right now is that although it has been a huge help to have the increased security, we have people there monitoring the door, and we have a weapons detection system. We have a need to have people be able to bring in larger parcels and belongings. One of the things that is unique to DSS is it's not uncommon if somebody is homeless that they show up with every belonging they have in a suitcase or in boxes. And although we have lockers outside, they are small enough that people oftentimes can't store everything that they own. So we oftentimes need to allow people to be able to come into the building. And I think there's in general a need to have a little bit better control. We have had a couple of situations where people have gotten through with objects that they really shouldn't have in the building. So this would enhance our security. We went through a process. We had 3 different vendors come and present to us. They, they showed us the products. They talked about, they measured the space. They talked about what would work. Out of that, this one specific vendor, I think, really has what would work the best for us. And we would like, so this resolution is really about purchase of this product as well as purchase of an extended warranty, which is much cheaper if you buy the extended warranty at the time of purchase. So we'd like to purchase that as well. And then they come and monitor the equipment and maintain it and help us with it. So that's what this resolution is for.
Can you explain the process? If someone comes to DSS, is it going to be similar to the courthouse, that you put your keys and everything in your pockets on the conveyor belt and it runs through the x-ray machine?
Yes, exactly. Although I will say, Shauna, that our hope is, and I think the way that we're looking at it, at having it designed, it will be a little less formal process. There is the machine that we're talking about having in place would be something that would fit nicely within that entry area. Excuse me. And our security people would sit right behind it, and they would just instruct people to put things on the conveyor. They would come out the other side so people can grab their own belongings. Nobody's having to take anything from people. And of course, you know, we have officers that are there to work with people, but they are in plainer clothes. So we're hoping to kind of keep the environment still comfortable for people and not feel too domineering, if you will, but it would screen all of those objects. So yes.
Any questions or comments? Travis?
So if I came and I had all my belongings with me, what would happen? Because if I had 3 or 4 bags with me, some may be too big to fit through the conveyor. Like, is there a place that I would be able to put my stuff until my appointment was over? So all of my stuff wasn't running through the belt?
Sure. So we will continue to maintain the lockers outside, which is what we have right now. So people would still be able to store things out there. And what I would say is our security staff will work with people. So if what we find is somebody says, I really want to bring this in with me, I'm worried about this suitcase, I don't want somebody to steal stuff, and maybe somebody says, even if I can take the larger parts out of it and have that screened, then I'll put the rest outside. We can work with people around that. People also sometimes do, they do have something that they consider their protection. They have a knife, they have something like that if they are living rough. And in that situation, we don't take anything from people. We don't do anything like that. Again, we're really looking to be respectful. If that happens, we tell people, you can take that outside and lock it in the locker, so it's secure. But then have the rest of the belongings screened. So we will work with people on all of that stuff.
Any other questions or comments for Kit? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that passes. Thank you, Kit. Do you have any other updates for us today?
I do. I'll just give a couple of quick updates. I'm really pleased to say that, so Foster Parent Awareness Month is May, but because it's a little cooler around here, we always do our celebration in June so that we can have an outside picnic, which happened this month about a week ago. I'm really grateful to all of our home finding and permanency staff, as well as others that contributed both to attending the picnic and congratulating our foster parents, as well as all the work that went into to coordinating that and making sure that we can honor foster parents. I will put in a little plug here that we always need more foster parents, and really our numbers declined a lot over the pandemic for people who were providing foster care. So we really need more people. So if you're interested, check out the county website. You can make contacts through there to become a foster parent, and we really need those supports. Currently, on the homeless side of things, we have 78 people in shelter, 69 adults and 9 children. Other than that, we talked about heat. We're doing a lot of prep work to try to reach out in the community, but certainly if people have concerns about anybody, let us know, and we will do what we can to follow up and make sure people are cared for during the high heat. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Kit. Next, we're going to move on to departmental updates, and I see J.R. Claiborne from Veteran Services. Hello, J.R.
Hey, good afternoon. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh,
All right, good news. I got booted out here a little bit ago, but I'm glad to be back. It's great to see everybody. Really, the only thing I have for updates right at this point is just wanted to call attention to everyone, if everyone noticed the flags that were in the various cemeteries around the county. I just want to point it out and say thank you, and please ask if you get a chance to thank our veteran organizations, the American Legion, VFW, and the Vietnam Veterans of America, as well as other veterans and volunteers who helped them out in getting the graves of veterans marked with flags around the county for the Memorial Day weekend. It's a big feat, and I like bringing it to your attention because these flags are purchased by the county, which the budget is now under my budget. So I want to thank you for that support because it's something that's very meaningful. There was one veteran that I know he was just recently buried, and so his grave did not have a flag, so I was able to put one on myself, which is just good that the family really appreciates that little extra touch that having the flags there by all of the veterans do for them. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for GR? GR, I noticed in our NISAC newsletter this morning, there was something that Madison County was doing to recycle old flags. Can you tell me, does Tompkins County have any type of program that recycles flags?
Actually, I have a bin for flag disposal, and what I do is once that gets filled up, I take it to the watch fire in September.
Oh, great.
BVA does. It's always the third Friday in September, so I take it up there and I put the flags on the bar for when the fire actually gets set.
Oh, that's good.
Ceremonial retirement for the flags.
Very nice. I didn't realize that was even a thing, so it's good to know. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for JR? Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, JR. Next, we have Kate Shanks Booth from Youth Services Department.
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I've been having technical issues all morning, so I'm just glad you can. Yeah, so just a couple of updates from our department. I'm happy to announce that we have made an offer and it has been accepted, and we'll be bringing on the youth service specialist as a 35-hour-a-week position to our department on July 22nd, which will take us up to 4 staff, which is great. We've been operating at 3 really since COVID and at max capacity, so we're excited about that. And then I did also want to provide an update for you all on the project assistant that we have had, which was originally an OTR that came from Legislator Brown a couple of years ago. We initially had planned to have this person do a resource mapping project to work to make sure that we were putting as many resources available at the fingertips of families as possible. And so we initially got really lucky and hired a Cornell graduate who was really wonderful and started that project, was out talking to several folks in our municipal rural communities. But then she left us. We've posted that job for a period of time and have had no applicants for it. So in talks with Randy and county administration, we've decided not to go ahead and pursue that part-time position for that OTR. The overall plan was that this youth service specialist was going to be onboarded at the same time as the project assistant, and that the program youth service specialist would sort of be the sustainability for those projects and keep them going after the project assistant time had run out. And so we're going to be using that individual to be going out. We're still going to continue to do the resource mapping and work on some other things that I think will be very beneficial for our community. There's also other county partners, community partners that have received grants to work on similar projects. And so we'll be bringing all those people to the table to make sure that we're not duplicating services for that as well. So we will get those things up and going, and we'll come to you with a report. It's just our timeline is going to be a little bit different than I had initially anticipated. So
Great. Thank you, Kate. Any questions or comments for Kate? Randy, thank you for having those conversations and representing the legislature on the Youth Services Board.
Glad to.
Okay. Thank you, Kate. We appreciate it.
Did we need to say anything about the resolution for the funding, or was that already taken care of?
Yes, we actually did add that to our agenda. So let's go ahead and move forward. If I can get a mover for the Budget Adjustment Youth Services Department, final 2024 state aid figures. Moved by Travis Brooks, seconded by Susan Currie. And would you like to add anything, Kate?
Yeah, just basically every year we get state funding, a little bit of state funding that comes from the Office of Family and Children's Services. This year we got, as we typically do, runaway and homeless youth and positive youth development funding, as well as teams, team education, and then competitive team sports. And so while we anticipated we put in sort of placeholders throughout the budget process, we don't get those exact numbers until later on. And so when we do, we make an adjustment, and that's why this is before you.
Okay. Any questions or comments about the resolution? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. That's unanimous. And thank you for the reminder, Kate.
Yep, no, thank you, I appreciate it.
You bet. Okay, I would like to go back to Kate Kephart because she did have one more thing on her agenda that I forgot about it.
I did. Sometimes, you know how it is when you have a really important thing and then that's the thing that slipped your mind. So I wanted to announce here, let people know that it is time to RFP for shelter services. So we are currently working with the finance department to get 2 different RFPs out for shelter services, and we've talked with St. John's about this. They are our current shelter provider, but of course they also are we are very hopeful they will also apply. So we wanted to get the word out. The RFPs are not yet released. We are working on the details of those with finance, but basically what people will see, I anticipate shortly, is 2 RFPs that'll come out early next month. One that is really for shelter services, which is the THA program. That's the annual or the all year round sheltering program that will also be attached to the Friendship Center portion of services. Although people could apply, organizations could apply for the THA sheltering and the Friendship Center separately. So they can apply together or separately for those. And then a separate RFP for Code Blue services. So I just want people to know you're going to see those coming out. We are very hopeful that word will make it far and wide and people will apply for those. So that's coming. We've done a lot of work on that to try to look at, how we can get good information out there about what we need in our community for sheltering and get some really great applications for the RFP. So just wanted to give people an update on that.
Great, thank you, Kit. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then our last department is Office for the Aging, Lisa Monroe. Almost said Lisa Holmes. That was a long time ago, Lisa.
It still happens all the time, Sean. It's okay. Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Hello.
So, yeah, just to go along with what Lisa and Kit had said about the heat event that we're having. So we spent most of the morning calling some of the different senior housing sites to determine their cooling options and what their needs might be. Shared the public information that Dominic and everyone has put together about the cooling stations, and gave them our number if folks need help, finding a place to, keep cool. We can help with transportation, and also, we can help connect people to the heat program too through our office for the cooling piece of that. And have a little bit of additional funding when that funding is expended to get people air conditioners as well. So we kind of follow the HEAP guidelines, but have a bigger pool of money just in case that money does run out, which not just in case, because it will run out. So we're able to help people that way as well. So the other thing is the Senior Farmers Market coupon program. The booklets will be available on June 24th. They're for income eligible older adults, 60 plus, and we'll start distributing them on the 24th through our office, and we get them out to people in other ways too. That's the only 2 things I have.
Great, thanks, Lisa. Any questions or comments for Lisa? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
We have minutes to be approved for May 15th, 2024. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Travis, seconded by Susan. Any corrections, comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And are there any comments from committee members or liaison reports? Travis?
Speaking of cooling stations, GIAC is a cooling station. It's open to the public. So if you know folks that are, especially with the power going out downtown, who are struggling with the heat, you can send them on over to GIAC. They just come in. There's a place set up for them to be able to get out of the heat for some time.
It's great to know. Thank you. Amanda?
I'm guessing that the library is as well. I'm not sure, but it usually is. So if folks need a place on that side of town.
Great, thank you. Okay. If you all could please take a look at the budget adjustments and transfers, those are just for information, and we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all. Have a good day. Stay cool.
Thank you.